I'm
Hi.
getting there.
Good. Hi, Melissa.
There you go. Make sure you have your volume up. Can you hear me?
I can hear you
I
perfect.
can't hear you though. Oh,
Oh,
maybe mine's muted. Mine's muted. Now I
okay.
can. Ever since we had that happen, that's what I
Exactly. Yeah, I remember that. How are you?
Good.
Yeah.
I was up at 3 o'clock.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, and then went back to bed about 7:30, and then
Okay.
got back up about 10:30. So all is well.
Good. Well, you needed that time, didn't you?
I did.
Yes.
Well, I hadn't done the PowerPoint yet, which is what I had planned to do when I got up, and so I think that's why I woke up at 3.
Right.
And so I was able to get that done. And then I still have tonight my vision board one.
Right.
I don't know why I scheduled so much stuff in 1 week, but I did.
I saw that you had that tonight, and I'm like, okay.
Yeah. And then yesterday I did the chamber, or was it yesterday? The Women in Leadership. I did their presentation. So yes, I've been a busy girl, but it's all good.
It is all good. And I know I've been hyperventilating this week too. And I asked myself too, why did I put so much on the schedule? And I thought, you know what? I put it on there because this is time. It's time for us to just do it. You know what I mean? And plow through and figure out those little bits of times where you can re-energize, you know, like you said, you lay back down. I think that's fantastic, you know. And like yesterday I did the eWomen Network thing. It was like 5 hours and it just sucked the life out of me. I mean, just between me and you, it was fantastic just because Sandra Yancey's got some great messaging. It's really about who she is, you know what I mean? I admire her tremendously, and she's got some wisdom and golden nuggets, you know what I mean?
Of course, yeah.
But yeah, it sucked the life out of me. And it was like 5 o'clock and 5 o'clock and I'm like, oh, I was thinking I'd do a Facebook Live and I'm like, there's no way. You know, if you don't have it, you know, the energy, it's like, don't force something. You know what I mean? Exactly. I'm like, get a good night's rest, you know, enjoy the evening, have dinner with your husband, you know, tomorrow wake up and it's like, okay, I'm ready to go.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I think that's one of the things that I'm starting to recognize is the amount of energy that we do use when we're creating our empire is, you know, refueling our batteries, recharging our batteries.
Exactly. And last night I'm like, Melissa would totally understand.
Yeah, absolutely.
I see Neil is here. I'm going to go ahead and just let him in.
Okay.
Hi, Neil. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Good. Good to see you here.
Hi.
Oh, we haven't officially started yet, Neil, but I saw you on. I'm like, I'm just going to let you in the room.
Yeah.
I have special access, you know.
Exactly. You do.
So you don't have to worry that we're talking about you, right? So
you know. Exactly.
You're in the room. You're not being talked about.
Right.
That person that's not in the room has got to worry. That reminds me, years ago, my niece actually had made that kind of statement when we were at a family gathering. And it was like, do you ever notice who we talk about? The person that's not at the family gathering. And it's like, oh my God, we do. So then anytime I wasn't at a family gathering, I'm like, shit, they're talking about me.
So you better show up.
Exactly.
That's the key. You better show up.
Yeah. It was
God, that's so funny. I've never thought about it that way.
No, you don't. Like, it was just like one of those moments that like, oh, yeah. Good point. Yeah. I love your vision board back there, Carol. Thank you for putting that on display.
I put it up there for you.
I love it.
Yeah.
Mine's on my phone now. Well, I showed it at the first one on the Pinterest and stuff like that. So mine's kind of different than what it used to be. But I do have over in the corner a board that I did. I don't even know what year I did that in. But it's interesting to look at it now because I actually put things on there that was already happening. So I guess the concept was to bring in more of that.
Yes.
You know,
I get it. Yeah.
So it was just kind of like, that's just, you know, there's some quotes and sayings and stuff on there, but yeah, it's just interesting.
Well, I did my first one. This is my first one. And then this is my second one.
Oh, okay.
And I put them together because they're really one and the same. I mean, the vision is still the same. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But yeah, it inspires me when I really stare at it and start, and then as I start to see, you know, spotlight, books, videos, magazines, and what do I have there? Your one-stop success and personal achievement resource.
Oh,
You
nice.
know, beautiful
You're doing
faces
that.
going places. I know. I'm like, oh my gosh, that's what's happening right now. That's what I'm doing. And
Yes,
I put that on 4
yes.
years ago, you know.
I love it.
Yeah. Create a culture, change your life, you know, through culture. And I don't know. There's something to be said about the power of vision boards. So
There is,
I
and
love your
I
work.
feel like what I've done has been able to revive that, you know, just if nothing else. I'm just so glad Amy Scalia and I had the conversation, and it was like, I was like, what can I do to help? And,
Yes.
you know, through all of that, when the pandemic first happened, and she's like, Melissa, I think you would just be excellent if you could just give people some sort of hope. And then it just turned into like the vision board concept, and it was like, oh my gosh. So it's been a lot of fun. And the calls that I have with people to follow up, I mean, that's becoming, you know, like just hearing their stories and where they're stuck on creating their board. Neil, do you have your board created? Do you?
I do. It's on my phone, but yeah, I do have mine.
Yeah. So it just to me it became more than what I even expected it to be, I guess.
Exactly. And you know what? Some people think vision boards are just kind of woo woo, or, you know, hey, they don't work or whatever.
Right, because they don't know how.
Exactly. Yeah. And I'm like, you know, they actually do work. I mean, if you clearly know in your mind what you want in life, you know what I mean?
Yes.
Where are you going? What do you want? Using imagination.
Well, and that's what I'm teaching tonight is activating the magic, because that's where I recognized, and it's just like, there's a method to the madness.
Exactly. There's more to this than just slapping a bunch of pictures on a board.
It's not Amazon Prime. It won't be there in 2 days, I guarantee.
Exactly. That's so funny.
I mean, it could be, but
right.
Our expectations are that, but it doesn't always work out like that.
Yes.
Hi, Ruth.
Hi, Ruth.
Hi, Ruth.
Good to see ya. We're still a few minutes early, and I think we had 15 that had registered for today. Great. So it should be a great group.
I like your wall color, Melissa.
Thank you. Thank you.
It looks like
it was actually my son's bedroom when he lived at home, and so he painted it orange. But then when we had the golf course, my office, I painted it the same color, and I had the exact same furniture down at the golf course as I do in my office now. So there's just something about it that I just love. Purple's my favorite first color, and then orange follows that. So yeah.
It reminds me of persimmons.
Oh yeah.
And then cookies.
Not the fruit, the cookie, right?
Well, you need the fruit in order to make the cookie, but
that's true. Yeah. That's true.
Hi, Neil.
Hi, how are you?
Great. How are you?
I'm good.
Good. Hey, Carol.
Good morning, beautiful. It's so good to see you, Ruth.
Thanks. Good to see everybody.
I know. It is. Well, we're almost to the weekend.
Almost.
Yes.
I know, and it looks like it's going to be a super weather weekend too.
Good, good. I enjoyed seeing your pictures of your patio area, Ruth. It looks so pretty.
Thanks. Yeah. It still does too. I was out there this morning, and I have a chaise lounge out there. So I was out there doing some work and just, you know, trying to get a little color on my legs, my skin. And it was so pleasant. A little bit of breeze, and really a nice backyard.
I keep thinking about getting some color on my legs.
Well, Rodan & Fields has the self tanner.
And I do use that. I love it.
Yeah.
It's just a light color though. I'm like, I actually have glow sticks is what I have. I would glow in the dark.
Yeah, I hear you. I know since we're not on the golf course like we were, I feel like I glow in the dark now
Right.
too. It's like, I look at pictures, I'm like, dang, I was dark. But not anymore. Yeah.
Exactly.
Okay, so I always have a hard time finding the link for these Zooms. What does
Do you?
Eventbrite not send you the link when they send you the email? Because that's where I go first, and I never see it in there.
Okay. Yeah,
So
I know the link is on Eventbrite. It's on our Facebook group page. It
that's
goes
where I went and got
in
it today.
the e-newsletter. I mean, it goes out in various different places. And
Yeah.
I've noticed that too. I mean, I think people in general are struggling to find, like, okay, where was that link? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I was wondering, would it be better just to give the number anymore instead of the entire link? Because you can just go to Zoom and then put in that number.
Mhm.
Yeah.
I think that's what gets confusing is because you're looking for that whole thing. And if I know it's your phone number or it's, you know, something like that, that might be,
I think
something.
it got changed up when there were issues with the Zoom bombers, and so not just to put the number out into the world so that anybody can, you know what I mean? So I think that's the little glitch there. I used to just put meeting ID and just plaster that all over everywhere.
Right.
But then you don't know who's going to show up, and we want people to register because then they commit to attending. And so I know it's like a catch-22, right?
It is, yeah, of course.
Yeah,
of course.
I think we'll wait just a couple more minutes here. I noticed the other day, even when we had our Spark Connections and Spark Conversations and New Connections on Monday, which was a fantastic new event that we've just launched here this month in June. I noticed that people still, they don't show up exactly at noon. So probably like give everybody 5 minutes to log in. And
I agree.
I know the other day I was scheduled to jump in somewhere and I'm like, oh my gosh, I totally forgot. You know what I mean? Like I start doing other things and then I look at the time, I'm like, oh my gosh, I need to start, I need to start putting a stop or a timer on or something to say,
that's what I do.
Girl, your appointment is getting ready to start.
I have to do that or I will, I'll forget.
Right. I just get engrossed on, taking care of something else. And then all of a sudden it's like 12:15. I'm like, oh my gosh. So I'm learning to use my iPhone timer now. Little reminders like, ding, hey, you got an appointment. Yeah. We'll give it another minute here. Let's see what I got. Okay, we're going to go ahead and get started. Well, welcome everyone. Carol Dockum here with beautifulfacesgoingplaces.com. We are a success network for women in business and entrepreneurs and solopreneurs. We provide education, information, and resources to support you on your business journey. So we're super excited today to welcome our special guest, speaker presentation by Melissa Kirkpatrick. I don't know if you're familiar with her or not, but she is an amazing transformational life and business coach. She has been running these fantastic, phenomenal vision board workshops. As you can see, mine is in the background here. And today she's going to be really sharing with us how to find your own drive to visibility and deeper connections. Melissa is on our success team here, so you can learn more about her and visit her profile on our website. But she's really here to help us visualize a bigger picture, tap into what's holding us back to unlock the ability to achieve what you truly desire. So I am going to go ahead and pass the baton on to Melissa, and we can go ahead and dive in here.
Okay, awesome. Well, thank you, Carol. I'm excited to be here and happy to be able to offer support, encouragement, direction, focus, all of those kind of things. And at this, not just now. I mean, I know we're using the pandemic as, the uncertain times and what do we do next and things like that. But I also believe that we're still in business. We're still striving towards the same goals that we've had and set the intentions for. And that was one of the reasons that I was just talking with Carol Neal about. I created the vision board workshops because I wanted people to bring life back into what they thought life was about, what they wanted to create for themselves. And it really has been well received. But the thing that prompted this visibility and deeper connections was we're outside of our comfort zone because now we're not in people's space. We are more online, and that's a whole different element. So I wanted to bring some ideas and suggestions around that can help you grow your visibility and as well as your connections. So I'm going to just pull up my slides here for you, and then we'll jump in. All right. So the first thing is really when you think about visibility, there's three ways that we are connected with someone. We either are in person with them, we're using social media, or we have printed materials. That's, sales wise, we're connected that way. Obviously in this setting, it's not in person, but it really is close to as in person as we can get. So what I feel is the in-person part, I think most of us have that nailed. Like I think when we're in person, we know that, but the social media becomes a little iffy, and printed materials not what it used to be. So those are the three areas that I want to talk about when we talk about visibility. So visibility strategies, it's how you make sure that you're the first business your customer thinks about. So Neil sells the Cincy, and he wants everyone to know he's the fragrance guy, that he's got ways to make things smell better in the world. And so I know that now about him. And so if someone were to say, my house stinks, or I wished I could get some of that car stuff that makes your car smell good, I'm going to think of the fragrance guy because we've had a connection, and his visibility with me has been where he's top of mind. I know 4 or 5 other people that do the same thing, but he's top of mind because we're doing the same thing. We're in meetings together. We're in places together. He's showing up in my newsfeed. I'm showing up in his. There's that visibility, that connection. And by regularly letting them know you're in business, and that's the place where what are the strategies? What can we really use to strategically put myself in front of people so that I am top of mind? So as I said, when we're in person, we have an energetic connection. I mean, you can be in a room and it's kind of like dating, right? You look across the room and there's someone that just catches your attention and you're like mesmerized, like who is that person? And that's, something you can't really get on the screen here. I can look at everyone in the squares, but energetically, I don't feel the energy. Maybe I look at the background and go, oh, that's kind of cool. That's kind of neat. Wonder what that person does. But at the same time, the energy's not there. Body language. We're all talking about being dressed from the waist up. Yep, I have shorts on. I don't have my business pants on. It's like, so my body language, my appearance, everything can be altered when we're in this setting. But when you see me out in public, I can't change that. I can't alter that. You are feeling and seeing me as the person that I am. Our voice, how we speak, how we connect, what we say, how we reach out to shake a hand, how we compliment someone. All of these are those in-person visibility. Someone will remember you because you took the time to do that, because you are speaking to them. It's not, have you ever been to a meeting and you see someone and you would like to go get introduced to them, but next thing you know, everybody's moving around, the meeting's over, and you leave, right? Mm-hmm. Those are times when you want to intentionally say, I want to meet that person before I leave this meeting, because there's a connection that's been made by the divine, or otherwise you wouldn't have had that idea or intention to go see that person. So, and then the appearance, like your overall appearance. Some people are, their eye goes to, they're carrying a Michael Kors purse, or they have on really nice stilettos, or they have a really cool tie, or, whatever it may look like. The appearance oftentimes is a reflection of us. And what is it they say? A picture's worth 1,000 words. So looking at you, there, you've already put out an opinion or a perception of who you are, but also you are giving off the energy. So that I know everybody knows that. You relate to that, just giving you kind of a refresher course on standing alone. But I wanted to emphasize it again, because when we do get back into engaging as a community in person, start to think about these things. Start thinking about, if I'm in a room of 100 people or 50 people, what's my intention when I get there? Because again, visibility aligns with intention. Same thing with vision boards, same thing, you know, instead of a goal, I talk about setting intention. So if I'm truly in my business to support others on their journey and to help them achieve bigger goals and dreams, then I know that walking into the room, then I'm going to be very good in listening to what other people are saying, or watching what they're doing, or hear the business they're in, because that aligns with how I might be able to support them. If I hear someone saying, oh, I sell insurance and I just don't get clients, then I'm thinking, that person, they need just to have a reframe. They just need to have a conversation with me. And so I'm in the service area. So I'm always looking, how can I serve others? So that would be the first thing on, you in person, standing out, making those connections. Social media is the thing right now. I mean, we are all over the place. We have so many social media platforms, but the things that we're going to talk about now is selecting one or two platforms, creating your strategy, posting for engagement, and doing giving value, and actually you have permission to sell, make an offer. That to me is where people are struggling right now. They're afraid to say, buy my stuff. Invest in you, let me support you, right? People are afraid to ask that, and the person that needs it is just waiting for you to invite them. So let's look at selecting social media platforms. Where are your clients and customers, and what are they doing and thinking? Facebook was the first that really took over, right? Everybody was engaged in Facebook, and then we have Instagram and LinkedIn and Twitter and Snapchat and I don't know, all those other things that are out there, TikTok now, and Lasso is with Facebook now. So when you can really focus on one or two, this gives you more engagement because your energy is flowing into that platform. And it took me a while. I do use 4 different platforms. I do just repurpose information from one platform to the other, but Facebook is really my #1 intentional platform. And then my videos are going up on YouTube, and then I'm throwing things over on Instagram, and then I am engaging in LinkedIn. But I have a strategy, and I'm going to share that with you. But what I've learned is when you can focus on 1 or 2 platforms, you can still build your empire. So don't think you have to be everywhere, because I know many individuals who have just built million-dollar businesses on one platform. They just have strategically planned how to do that. And I'm going to share that with you. So here's just some of the symbols about how am I going to leverage my audience. How many of you have more than one platform? Does everybody have, I can't see everybody, but does everybody have more than one platform? I would assume that we do. Okay. All right. So when we're thinking about this, think about the one platform that you get the most engagement, the most, it's hard to say sometimes, oh, I got sales from that, or I got connected here or there, that kind of thing. But think about the platform. So for me with Facebook, I'm connected with Beautiful Faces Going Places. I'm connected with other organizations and groups. So I know it's almost like, compartments that I can go to anytime I need support, anytime I need engagement, anytime I need to network. Facebook's where it's at for me. Maybe for you, may not be for you. Instagram may be your jam. I don't know. But that's what I mean. When you pick that one thing, where do I get the most bang for my buck, personally and professionally? So we have that in mind. So when we talk about a strategy, and this is the thing that I hated to do. I am one of these people. I like to go, shoot from the hip, fly by the seat of my pants. I told Carol I got up at 3 a.m. this morning to put this PowerPoint together because I didn't do it yesterday. And it just was like, okay, well, I know I can do this last minute. It's not a big deal, but it's just, that's who I am. And I embrace that. But as I work with masters who have achieved their big businesses and who are really thriving, the one thing that kept coming back was organization and strategy. And I'm like, wow, I don't know about that, but okay, I'm willing to play. So when we look at that, I was an IT teacher, and we used to do a thing called flow charts, and it was basically how you would program a software or a language. And this was the flow chart system, and it's kind of a yes, no. So you start with the intention, and then you come down with the question, and then which way do you go? The little triangle wins the yes, no. If they say no, go here. If they say yes, go there. So that was something I could relate to. I'm like, yeah, I get it. It's just like programming a computer. If I hit a certain key or I ask it to do a certain command, I expect it to do something. And if it doesn't, then I have a backup plan. Same thing with creating your business, same way with designing your weight loss program, same thing with decorating your home, right? We have all the strategic plans, and if something doesn't go as planned, we navigate, pivot, move to the next thing. So by putting that in your mindset, what that can look like is something very strategic, such as this. For instance, email. I highly encourage you, figure out how to get a lead magnet, get people giving you your email. If Facebook went back down tomorrow, you're going to lose all of your connections. Emails are top priority, getting those as often as you can. If people give you a business card, put it in a CRM and get those emails collected, because they have more power in a sense of connecting with someone than any other platform. It's always there, kind of like someone's telephone number. It's pretty much always there. So find a way to do that. But let's say, for instance, this is just a scenario. If I was going to do my email strategy, I'm thinking about, okay, in the mornings, I want an email to go out. I actually copied this from someone else, so you can see it says Pacific, so it would be Eastern. But in the morning, I want it to go out. Maybe I'm going to let them know I'm doing a Facebook Live. Maybe I'm letting them know about something coming up, a program. And then later in that evening, maybe it's a sales email. Or am I going to do it once a day? Am I going to do it twice a day? Am I going to do it once a week, every other day? Like getting that really clear. And that was a hard thing for me, because I know I get some emails from people like all day long, every day. And then I unsubscribe because I'm like, that's annoying. Like, I don't want that much information. But then the person that sends it maybe once or twice a week, it's like, oh, what are they talking about today, right? There's an energy around it. So when you can look at emails strategically for your visibility, this is what we're talking about. What does it look like? It's not just randomly. Like Carol, you just sent one out today about the upcoming virtual business week. Yes. So, you know, that may be something that comes out every Thursday. There may be an email like that comes out every Thursday, but because you're launching it, I may get 3 or 4 more emails over the course of the next 3 or 4 days before the actual program starts. So again, it's strategically planning that out. Have you planned, like, do you plan that out, or are you kind of like putting it out there when you're moved? I'm going to be honest,
I am just putting in the organization and strategy behind this platform. So yes. I have identified there is a need for this logic right here that you're showing us right now. Yes, so
okay,
I'm working on it.
Yeah, and I mean, I am too. Like, I'm not an expert by any means, but what I've already started, I already see results, and that's what I want to encourage.
I can see that. Do you mind I love what you've got here, this image here, especially the part of give one give, then ask. Do you know what I mean? And I totally see a lot of, you know, individuals out there, entrepreneurs, business owners that are just asking. So and that is a huge turnoff.
Yes. And what we mean by that, the give and the ask, is me giving you information. Like today, I'm giving you content. I'm giving you information. You're not, the only thing you're investing is your time and your attention. And if I, you know, at the end, I'm going to ask you to maybe join the vision board workshop tonight, or ask you to join my upcoming Progress Towards a Purpose, you know, 2-week mini mastermind. But the thing is I don't want to just keep asking. And even in your social media posts, that's where you align those things. So my program will start the 22nd. So it's being able to put things together. So right now it's all been about the vision board, but after tonight, it's going to move into the mini mastermind series that I have that's going to complement the building of the vision board. This was free, but now there's going to be an investment, you know? So it's like really, when I laid that all out with my coach, it was like, oh, this makes total sense, because then I don't have to get up in the morning and go, well, what am I going to do today? And I realize what I need to do. So yeah, so the give and the ask is really, and it can be very simple. It can be, Like I used the Louise Hay calendar. It could just be that statement. I deserve the best and I accept it now. All my needs and desires are met before I even ask. I could share this on my social media platform and just, hope this serves you today. Hope this resonates. What do you feel when you read that? Like we forget we're all humans. We want to be supported. We want to be acknowledged. I put on my private or my personal page, watermelon's my favorite fruit right now. What's yours? And I mean, there's like 80 some comments on it in addition to me replying back. And I'll talk about that in a little bit more, but that's the thing. That's the engagement. That's the visibility. And the algorithms of these social media platforms are challenging, and even buying ads anymore are not as effective as they once were. So this is just, like I said, just a way of start thinking how you want to do it. Maybe you want to give one give and one ask, and that's it. And at the end of the day, maybe it is a give and ask. Neil, you've got some upcoming online parties that you're going to be doing with your product line. And so you're feeding me information about why do I need to, make my house smell good, or why are these products better than something else? Or in general, did you know that your candle is killing you, kind of thing. Like you're going to educate me. So then when it comes time for the party, I'm like, gosh, I got to buy this stuff. Like I need that because you've made me believe. Made me believe is kind of strong, but you educated me. There's the word. You've educated me.
Yeah, there you go.
Does that make sense, Neil? Do you see?
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So that's what sometimes we forget. Sometimes it's like, oh, here's the new product. Oh, here's the new price. Carol, you do Rodan and Field. So there's another product line, right? I have Shackley. It's like we want everybody to buy, but at the same time, if they don't know why, and we don't put time and interest into helping them, then they're not going to do business with us at all. And it's even harder when they go over to Jane Doe and buy her product and it's the same product you sell. It's because you weren't top of mind, you weren't visible, you weren't ready, easily accessible, and you didn't make that connection. Okay, so post that engagement. It's about them and not about you. That to me is the hardest thing because I want it to be all about me because that's just the kind of person I am. But when you shift the mindset, it's really the mindset thinking, I'm trying to grow a business. I'm trying to make money. I'm trying to have a trip to Brazil. I'm trying to get my husband retired. That's me, right? That's all me trying to create this empire. When I let go of all of that, that goes on my vision board and say, how can I serve other people? How can I be in service today? Carol is great about always saying, I appreciate you. She tells all of us how much she appreciates us. And even though that's one little word, it is impactful because I know her well enough that she's not just blowing smoke. She truly means she's appreciative of the community, of the engagement, of the people. So when we start putting the person first, one of the things I learned when I was in teaching, a handicap student became a student with a disability. Like you didn't put the disability before the student. The student always came first and the disability was following because it's not them. Just like when you would, like with children or even someone else, the child is not stupid. It was what they did may have seemed stupid. But we're so quick about putting it on the person that we want to be able to create this environment that it's about them and thriving and enriching them and growing them. So what does that look like? It's engaging the audience so that you're top of mind by educating, asking, and sharing. Is that sharing? My thing's on there. Yeah, and sharing. So when we educate, it's the value over the offer, especially in the selling too. They want to throw their money at you, right? So when we educate someone, it's based on them. So if I have you on Island A with a problem, whatever that problem is, we'll use Neil again. You got a stinky house. And over here on Island B, it can just be so fragrant, so mood changing, so relaxing, so, just makes you just feel amazing. I want to get you on the boat so I can take you over to the island. So when we think of that value, and it can be like a pain point. What's my client's pain point? Why are they struggling? What is it they can't get past? They're stuck, they're stalled. So I have to know the value of them getting into the boat so then I can make the offer. Does that make sense? Yeah. So we want them to throw their money at us in the sense, and I say that jokingly, but really isn't that what happens? It's one of those things that, the value is there and the person's like, oh my God, I can't imagine my life without it. Maybe you had a product that you used to use and it got discontinued. And for a minute you're thinking, I don't know how I'm going to move forward past not having that particular product or service or, engagement. So always start from the place, what's in it for them? And here's the cool thing. 9 times out of 10, it goes back to your why. When you know why you did what you got into doing what you're doing, it's the same thing that person you're marketing to or having the conversation with can relate to. But we don't want it to be about me. Oh, I got into this business because I wanted to have my own business. I wanted to be an entrepreneur. It's more engaging the conversation around what would make you want to be in a business? What would make you want to start your own business? How come are you passionate? What are you passionate about? What do you like doing? It's more that conversation, but based on your own experience. And then those offers that you make, they just can't live without it. They recognize they can't live without it. So whether it's the fragrance, the skincare, the coaching, the vision board, whatever it looks like for that person, that's when it doesn't matter if they don't have a penny in their bank account. If they really have aligned with why they need it, they're going to figure out how to spend the money and get the money to invest in themselves with you. Always talk about if someone called you and said, I need $1,000 by tomorrow night or else I'm going to jail or I'm going to be killed or whatever. We find the money for that person because we're invested in them. They're important to us. Our visibility, our connections with people are based on those types of relationships. And so who do I call? I would call Carol first and say, hey, help me out, because of the relationship that we've built. Also, being able to just know that you're not responsible for what other people are investing in themselves. All you're responsible for is educating them why this service would benefit them. And when they receive it, this is my drive, you desire it in your mind and then you receive it in your heart space. As soon as that locks in, the first time I hired a business coach, that was back in 2009, I have not gone without a coach since. So for 11 years, I've had some form of a coach or support or accountability partner, because even though I can do it on my own, man, that to me, the value there is worth it. Okay, we will do a Q&A at the end. So if you start having questions come up, we'll get to those. Actually, do we want to add, maybe let's go ahead and ask now on the visibility part, because I'm going to get into the deeper connections. Is there anything anybody wants to comment or speak on? Ask a question? We good? Okay, then we'll move on. Deeper connections. So more about them, as I was saying, is you want to put the other person at ease. If I feel like someone's coming at me, and I'm going to be honest here, LinkedIn is really upsetting me right now because I am getting inbox messages, people saying that they want to connect with me and work with me and want to know things. And it's like, you're not even coming in with a, hey, I saw your profile and I thought we could connect. It's like right to the punch. Click this and buy my stuff. Click this and sign up for this workshop. And it's like, wait a minute, you've not even commented on one post. Someone actually gave me a, what do you call it? A review thing. And I'm like, you don't even know me. How did you give me a review? Like, I don't know. But anyways, so we want to put the other person at ease in that you're not like just, swarming in, or that you're, coming in with the purpose of selling to them. It's building the relationship. It's the know, like, trust that we've all been taught in sales, but it's also connecting with that person on a human level. Your hair looks great. Who do you have do your hair? Your makeup looks gorgeous. Your fit and trim. What do? Your shoes are amazing. You look great in a bow tie. I don't know if Neil wears bow ties or not, but maybe. No ties. But yeah, and then practice that active listening, because oftentimes we all like to talk about ourselves. And so when you're engaging in a conversation with someone, listen to the things that they're saying. When I do a discovery call with someone, I really listen. I make it a point. I take notes. I hear what they have to say. If anyone's had that discovery call with me, you know that I can read back everything you said to me because I'm active listening. And then I get to dig a little deeper and ask those questions that allow you to be even more open and honest. And when you can hold space, that's what I call holding space with someone like that, then you know that you have made a deeper connection beyond the surface of where do you work? Don't you hate this weather? What's this pandemic, right? Like that's just surface talk. We want to get real talk. And always try to turn the conversation back to the other person. You want to hear what their pain points are. You want to hear what their needs are. And you want to just know them as an individual. Because here's the thing. I'm not going to refer anyone to you if I don't know you. I've known Carol for 5 years. I've known Neil for less than a year. But I've built a deeper connection with both of you. Ruth and I have had conversation enough for me to build a relationship that I would not hesitate to refer someone to you. But like this person on LinkedIn, I have no clue who they are. I am not going to send anybody that way. So it really is about the conversations going back to them so that you can build that. And again, it goes back to like the dating process. Like you get into those conversations, right? It wasn't just, I mean, first it was surface, but then you get into the deeper conversations. And then ask for details. If someone says something that really resonates with you or you're curious about it, or maybe they talk about a job that they, oh, and I had this job and I left there and then I went on and blah, blah, blah. Well, tell me more about that job. What was it that, made you leave? What was the thing that changed your perspective that you didn't want to work there anymore? And how did you do that? So those are the kind of things that you want to ask. And then always find a way to follow up. I make sure that I follow up in a way that is not like, hey, we talked, what are we going to do now? Are you going to hire me? Like, do you need more stuff from me? Like, it's more of, hey, we talked, but I want to know, did anything come up since that conversation? Or I'll find a quote like on that calendar and I may send it to someone. Anytime you have that person come across your mind, I don't know if you're like me, but periodically, like I had a woman come across my mind I haven't seen in 3 years, and I don't know why, but I messaged her because I've learned those deeper connections are based on that when you meet someone, you're divinely connected. So therefore, continuing the engagement increases the visibility as well as offers that person to say, man, Carol's been really awesome with following up with me and taking care of things and created this awesome platform. I want to invite you in to meet her, which I just introduced her to my Aussie friend, Amanda, who lives in Australia. And so those are the things. I wouldn't have done it had that connection not been there. So that's pretty much in a nutshell to help you start. I know sometimes when I taught high school students, it was always like, don't give me too much information. We can only hold about the amount of minutes as our ages are. So like an 18-year-old to a 16-year-old holds about 16 to 18 minutes worth of information or your attention. So as we get older, it's like you've kind of put that in half. So if you're 50, about 25 minutes is really enough information for that 25 minute for a 50-year-old, which I thought was a great little, statistic, I guess. So that's where I want to just make sure that we can go into some Q&A now, because I'm sure you have some questions about what you're doing and nothing's off limits. And so I'll open the floor.
Well, that
So I got a
was
question.
amazing. That's all I have to say. That was amazing. Yeah. And I'm excited to dive into some conversation, and I've got so many takeaways myself, and I just love the way you dove in and you really just hit all of those points. So
thanks. Thank you. Neil, you had something?
Oh yeah, I was got a question. The social media, I mean, yeah, that can be overwhelming, very overwhelming. So I like, where you said, the ask and the take. So obviously I use a lot with Facebook and Instagram. Mm-hmm. So I guess more of the ask it. I know you're not supposed to be, very salesy. Like every post is not supposed to be sales all the time. Probably not to do, but then it's like, oh, here's a product that I like that you should know about. Mm-hmm. So I'm trying not to do that. But when you talk about the ask and the take, I mean, what are you talking about? Just something in general to put out there, or?
So give and ask. So when I give something, I'm giving value with no strings attached.
Okay.
So like people like to share recipes that are on diet programs, right? So that's the give. I'm giving you an opportunity to make a healthy meal. The next day, there may be an ask to come into my group and learn more about these recipes. Okay. Find more recipes. So it's not wrong to ask, like you get a new product and you're super excited. Yeah, put that out there. Okay. If you want to have a party, you can get this for free. Parties allow you to earn X, Y, and Z. There's the value.
Okay.
But if you just want to buy it, message me and we'll get it shipped right out to you, or you'll add it to somebody else's party. That's always a good one too. Oh, I can order something, you're going to put it on someone else's party? Well, that's cool. I'd like to help that person. I don't know them, but let me put my product order in with them.
Gotcha.
So it's
Okay.
being creative in the conversation instead of, here's the Cincy new warmer, here's the new fragrance, here's the price. And some people like that. So you're not going to not do that. But it's how can you warm them up to keep following you, to keep listening to the information that you're providing. Does that make sense?
Okay. Yeah, that makes sense.
Okay. And we have a call later today, so we'll dive a little more into that for you too. Our follow-up call. So
Yes.
yeah. Yeah, I think social media is one of those things that really, like I said, if you strategically lay it out, like when I about a year ago, I was like, okay, it's going to be Motivational Monday. It's going to be Tip Tuesday. It's going to be Wellness Wednesday, Tune Up Thursday, Journal Friday, Shout Out Saturday, and then Soulful Sunday. Like I put that on a list, and that just allowed me every day to know. And usually the night before I just pre-posted it, scheduled it. So I would know that I was offering, because being a mindset and transformational coach, I can talk to all those areas. And so it just aligned for me to do that. So like with Neil, it may be the product of the week that you're going to showcase on Wednesdays or something like that. Carol may just do her Rodan and Fields one day of the week, but otherwise she's doing Beautiful Faces Going Places. So it's like just so people start knowing those habits. If you do Facebook Lives or you do videos, so like I've been doing a 5:15 in the Drive from Stuck to Unstoppable, which is my private Facebook group. So I set my timer on my phone, Carol, and then, go in and do that. Well, I didn't do it last night. We were in the middle of that big storm. So I'm okay that I didn't do it. I don't think anybody, was crying about it or even probably missed it. But this morning I had one come up in my memories that I did a couple of years ago that was perfect. So I shared it and said, hey, I didn't do the video yesterday, but this probably because this came up. So let me share that. So it's just all in that, how I'm communicating with my audience, right? So I acknowledged I didn't come on at 5:15, but I also acknowledged this video from 2 years ago holds value, and I'm repurposing my stuff. And repurposing is good. I mean, you don't even have to share the memory. You can just copy the text on it and repost it as a new post even. So there's ways to really do that engagement. And if you go in and look at your statistics on your social media platforms, you can get a sense. People are really active on Wednesdays. People don't do anything on Fridays after 4, like Saturday mornings up until 10 and then nothing. So it's really like, I'm trying to decide, do I want to even be engaged on Saturdays and Sundays? I feel like I spend so much time through the week from sun up to sundown. Do I even need to bother to show up on Saturdays and Sundays? Maybe with my family, or maybe just one post in the morning and I'm done. But as I align my energies around that, I have to take those kind of things into consideration.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Carol's shaking her head, right?
Yes, exactly. I know, I'm right there with you. I think about, Monday through Friday, I'm so engaged, so passionate, working on programming and, bringing in new members and et cetera, being present and live, on social as well. And then executing the programmings, and then making sure marketing is done. So there's so much intensity Monday through Friday, and then even participating in other groups and other organizations and their events, that by Saturday and Sunday, I'm just about tapped out. And I'm like, I feel like we all need to take that time, self-care, to say, hey, it's okay. If you want to engage for an hour in the morning on Saturday, and then engage with your family and get things done at home and enjoy life too. You know what I mean?
Yes.
I love what I do, but we also need to, take that time for ourselves, and it's okay. Give ourselves that permission. And I know one of my new favorite words is grace. Give yourself grace. So if you're not able to achieve or accomplish, that long to-do list, it's like, it's okay. You know what I mean? Don't beat yourself up. There's always tomorrow.
Exactly. Yeah, I call it a choice list. So instead of it being a to-do list, it's a choice list, because when you get to the end of the day, well, you chose to do those things and you chose not to do them. So don't beat yourself up. Let's just put them on tomorrow, or see how we can delegate them, or see who, what we can do. Yeah.
Right. I love that choice list.
Yes. And the self-care piece too is that truly rejuvenating your spirit and your soul, because we don't recognize that it's like fuel in a car. You can drive it for so long before it runs out of gas, and then you have to refuel it. Our body vessels, our system's made the same way. We have energy always pulsing through it, but if we don't give it time to sleep or nourish it or hydrate it, right, it starts breaking down. So it's that concept. If I'm an entrepreneur, I need to treat entrepreneurship in that same capacity of I've got to revitalize, refuel, re-energize. And what does that look like for me? Maybe it's turning off social media. Maybe it's sleeping an hour later. Maybe it's taking a walk out in nature. It's just finding those things, because otherwise you head right towards burnout. And then you're not as on target with your customers or clients, because now it's evident that you've not been able to fuel your own self. And what is it, the oxygen mask? You put yours on first before you put others on. So it really relates to that. And I've learned practices. I burn sage in my office after every call. I take a walk around. We have a 8-acre property here. I walk around the pond. I take the dog out for a walk. I walk to the mailbox. It's just like, let me move some of that energy, because I've taken on all the information from that individual supporting them. And then it's like, whew. And then sometimes when I have 3 or 4, I'm on such a high, it's like, oh my gosh, I got to come back down. Like, this is way too much. So today is one of those days, starting with this and then ending with my vision board and appointments in between. It's like, okay, but I'm ready for it. I'm ready for it because I know the preparation.
Yeah.
So, how about any other questions? Ruth or Natalie? We have Laura, Paula, and Diane.
One that kind of comes and goes. I've heard it different ways. There are a lot of programs that allow you to schedule all your posts. And I'm kind of one of those that is very much about a message for you is going to be different than Neil's or Carol's or Ruth's or Lisa's, whatever. What are your thoughts on these places that prep your messages that go out to all your platforms versus understanding the audiences that are unique to each platform? So kind of just what are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, absolutely. So that's a great question, Natalie, because I think that's the one that I recognize. No one can say it the way I want to say it. No one can put my energy behind it. When we had the golf course, we had a company set it up to go out like Hootsuite. Well, it'd be like, oh, come play golf. It's sunny and gorgeous, and it'd be pouring down rain. It was like, wait a minute, that doesn't work. How do I not make that be the statement? So here's what I think is good. When you can get, if someone can offer like my thing about saying the watermelon, like I said, I like the watermelon, the engagement that I had on that. So if someone wants to create those kind of words for you like that, that's great. But I feel like when it comes to your own branding and your own messaging, it's your words, and you can plan a week in advance or a month in advance. You can use a chart, like every day I'm going to talk about this or this. So you could actually create it. But I'm a believer that it just doesn't feel as connected, and the algorithms do not like those third-party tools coming in and doing that kind of stuff. So that would be my suggestion, is if it's just those single word things, what gets engagement is one, but I think your own messages are more valuable and get more
engagement. Goes along with your tip too, that we shouldn't try to be on all of the platforms. Pick the couple or two that work for you and, focus on those. So.
Yeah, it's that FOMO, right? We're fear of missing out. Well, if I'm not on Instagram, what if my people are there? If I'm not on LinkedIn, what if someone had something for me there? And I feel like, this past year, I've really been monitoring it in the sense of what is really giving me the engagement, what's bringing my business, what's offering. And that's what I said, Facebook is my go-to every time, because there's just so much more there. But again, getting those email contacts as well, because that's the thing. If Facebook would go away, I want to still be able to engage with those individuals.
Yeah.
Yeah. Any other questions?
Melissa, I have one.
Yes, Ruth.
You talked earlier about the 4 platforms that you use, and then you said a lot of the times I'm repurposing the same information and just spreading it out amongst the 4 platforms. Do you have a system for that? Or
I do.
Okay.
Yeah. So at night, usually before I go to bed, I schedule my Facebook post.
Okay.
When I wake up in the morning, and that's random, I take that Facebook post, I copy the information, I put it on Instagram, I put it on LinkedIn, and I put it in Twitter. I do use Twitter. And it's the same thing that I posted on the Facebook, but I don't worry about scheduling it with them. I just go ahead and just copy and paste it over. It takes like 2 minutes to do that. So that has worked for me. And again, that goes back to what Natalie was saying, like being your, I can have my own voice on all those platforms. I don't have to have a scheduler. And again, I can schedule the Facebook ones if I choose to, but I really feel like I'm more intentional. I want to know, like my messages just come intuitively, right? Like it's, what do I want to talk about today? And it could be, oh, the storm blew through last night. Maybe I want to talk about that. Or maybe it's getting up at 3 o'clock this morning. Like, I don't know if that's a conversation until it happens. And so that's where it's helpful. But yeah, and the repurposing of old things too. So if you have memories pop up in your Facebook, you can, maybe bookmark them for later, like put them somewhere else that you want to bring that back into the conversation. And, flow is another thing with your social media posting. So like we were talking about a launch, like Carol's launching the virtual training, and I had my vision board thing. So when you're talking about launching, there's another strategy that it won't be so much the give and ask of whatever. It's going to be very strategic. Hey, there's vision board stuff coming up. Then the next one might be, do you have a vision board? And the next one might be, what's your struggle with making your vision board things come to reality? Hey, here's the class, get signed up, right? So it has this strategic flow to it, because I don't want to give a big, long dissertation about it, because no one's going to read that. So you can actually break the pieces up when you're doing a launch through social media, and it'll get more engagement. And the thing about always having to put a picture with it, now that's no more. Words are getting more traction than those with images. Videos, vertical, get more traction than horizontal. So, and if anybody knows Shannon Donestay with 5-Star Social Media, she's got all these little tips and tricks that she shares in her training. So I highly recommend, anyone looking for additional support. But those are some of the things that I've learned from her that are like, nope, this works, this works, this works. So yeah. And Instagram and Facebook are connected, so they don't care that you're going to put a YouTube link in there, because they're not a part of YouTube, but YouTube's a part of LinkedIn or something. Like there's connection. I don't know if it's LinkedIn or not. Google, maybe it's Google and YouTube. Are they connected? Google and YouTube. Yeah. Mm-hmm. So it's like, oh, I didn't even know that was. So it's almost like someone coming in trying to be on your turf, and you're like, wait a minute, I got this. I want this engagement. So there's a lot to learn for sure about social media. That's why I'm not an IT teacher anymore, because every year I had to learn so much stuff. This was way too much. Yeah. Yeah. And also putting links, like your website or a registration link, it'll generate the picture for you. Often you can take that picture off and just have the link. That's another tip that you can use as well, that you don't have to have it preview the thumbnail. You can just put the link in there, and that can also generate more traction, the way that the algorithms are set up. I know just enough to be dangerous. But I'm learning. I keep learning. And that's what I feel like the education piece of that in me is always a lifelong learner. I want to know more. I want to be able to share this, because, I've actually taken on 2 website jobs. Like I haven't done website, business website, but someone's like, hey, can you just do this to my website? I'm like, sure, I can do that. I'm like, I don't know where this girl's coming from, but for me being the girl, like, I don't know why I'm saying yes to things like that, but I know it's just enhancing my services, enhancing my skill set, and just bringing more offering to others, because it's, I don't want to pay $10,000 to have a website done. So if I'm someone that knows just enough to help you get a button put on your website, well, then let me help you with that. Like, I don't need it to be a full blown out project. And I think that's one of the things too, even with coaching, people don't know what coaching's like until they've experienced it for free. I truly think free coaching is what people buy into, versus, oh, she's going to help me, well, then let me invest and we'll see how it goes. I don't think that, matches up that well. Does that make sense?
I think you're absolutely right.
So that's the value. That's what the value means.
You're giving, exactly. That's giving the value. And that's the whole idea behind Beautiful Faces Going Places. It's an online platform for speakers, trainers, coaches, and experts to showcase, to give value, to give snippets of really what how they solve problems and the way they work, and it's that whole thing, that whole visibility thing. And then once, the world experiences you, or, you know, something resonated with them, then they're more apt to say, oh my gosh, okay, she actually has a workshop, you know, I can purchase a ticket, dive in, and then that will lead to other things, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
exactly.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah.
Well, I think, I mean, I don't know if anybody else has any more questions here, but I wouldn't mind if we just kind of went around the room and let everyone just introduce themselves and their company, and then maybe just share your takeaways here from Melissa.
Awesome.
Okay.
Yeah.
Laura, would you be interested in going first? I'm just so happy to see you here today from India.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, so I will say, you know, one thing, Melissa, that, and then I could share of why I'm here today is just the constant engagement, but not over the top, that Carol provides. I'm in Indiana, and so, you know, being able to, you know, I didn't have bad weather, but we have great weather. So, and no, I'm in the car and I have to drive, so I appreciate you letting me go. So yes, Laura Rollins, Thrive. I help small business owners run their business on a simple CRM software, from setting appointments, to sending invoices, and getting paid.
Low motion.
Laura, you blacked out on us. I think it's your connectivity.
Text messaging, marketing campaigns, getting reviews, doing social media, being found online, and connecting all those pieces. So everything you talked about for me is, sorry, I'm a mover. Oh no.
Okay.
I can hear
I think
you.
she's.
That's okay.
I know you were kind of zooming in and out on us.
Can you hear me? If I stop my video, it doesn't take as much bandwidth.
Yeah, we can hear you.
So anyways, yes, I get to help small businesses, and that's what I'm out doing today, is checking in on all my clients and the ones that want to see me. So it's kind of exciting.
Well, that's exciting. Congratulations to be back out into the world, Laura.
Sorry.
Oh, no, you're fine. I'm just thrilled that you joined us. And I know Laura is, I believe, will be representing Beautiful Faces Going Places in Indianapolis once we open up the world and we can start actually meeting in person. So looking forward to learning more about her and her services and how she can help small businesses. All right. Ruth, welcome. Since we're all here, it would be nice for everyone to have the floor.
Yes, thanks, Carol. Melissa, great job today. And, you know, my main takeaway is the whole scheduling piece. And I'm one of those control freak people that nobody can do it quite like I can do it, but then it doesn't always get done.
Yeah.
So thank you for that. You've given me some good suggestions. I appreciate that. So my name is Ruth Medlin, and I own Ruth Medlin Consulting in the influencer community. Ruth Medlin Consulting is a business that I developed 8 years ago while I still lived in California. And it was my passion to help just starting entrepreneurs with their entrepreneurial journey. So I developed a 6-month program that is kind of one of those, you know, you can sign up for all 6 months, or if you feel like you only need the marketing piece, then you sign up for that. So it's kind of a push-pull situation. I love working with brand new entrepreneurs. It's so much fun. Yeah. And I feel like I learn more from them than they sometimes learn from me, but maybe it's a give and take situation. Influencer community, I started 2 years ago, and it's an online networking program. One of the things that happened when I first moved to Ohio was that I dove in with both feet. I joined probably 5 or 6 different networking groups. And I found that all throughout the month, I was, you know, going to this luncheon and going to this talk and doing different things. And I just saw it as a time bandit for me, because I was in the car all the time. I was driving to and from places that I wasn't that familiar with at the time. And I just thought, there's got to be a different way of doing this. And so that's where the influencer community came to be. And yeah, I'm just happy to be here. And Carol, thanks for providing us such quality information. I always, I always think if I learn one thing, it's worth it. And I usually take, more than one thing away. So thanks, Carol, for that. And thanks again, Melissa.
Me too. I have so many takeaways. So I took lots of notes. I'm a big note taker. All right, Natalie.
So it's good to see you, Melissa. It's fun to catch up again. Just listening to your message was, I've done a lot of vision boards prior to this port. So I always like to hear what is today's vision boarding looking like, and how we do that. But it still goes back to those same goals. And I think my takeaway was realizing just how important it is for us to be in this circle when we talk about surrounding ourselves with people that support the value that we bring. There were a lot of connections, a lot of inspirations. So thank you for those. Some things that were like, oh yeah, I could say that. And that would be a good way that doesn't sound like I'm copycatting, but then draws, like you said, adds the value to what we offer. So it was just really good to hear some of that and refresh those little, like you said, those little tweaking points that we're always making sure we're staying on the curve of to still be fresh, to still set ourselves apart. So it's very good to hear all that.
Good. I'm glad that you received that.
So I know some of you, Lisa may know me, or Melissa just kind of started on this. So I'm the founder of A Niche of Nature, which is my home for what I bring of the education and the component and the understanding of natural wellness and how that impacts all aspects of our life. I partner with a company, Longevity, that is my toolkit. So it provides the resources. And when people are like, I need something to help with that, I've got a place that I can go to. I love working with partners in the field, sending them to practitioners and others that when we're talking about it's about them, not me. We might be talking and I'm hearing something that says, I think I need to connect you with someone else who better can serve them maybe at this moment in time. But it's that gift of connecting them with somebody of value that look like, know, and trust might come back around going, I really appreciated what you did. And I'd really like to know more about what you do. So it's planting those seeds of connection. So I think that's really important to me to build that community. But as I say, taking people's health challenges and turning them into wellness solutions. So it can be a little piece or it can be a big one. So
yeah, awesome. Yeah.
Thank you so much, Natalie. I'm glad you were here.
Yeah, me too. It's good seeing you.
Good to
and
be
Neil.
So yes, Melissa, it was good. Especially your social media thing was really good about the posts. I never, always think you need to put some posts out there so people know who you are. I know, like you said, we are going to talk later on today. So it's always good talking to you. So everybody knows, my name is Neil Fishka, and the company I started about almost a year ago, last year, was The Fragrance Guy. It's a passion I have. I have the stuff in my home as well, so want to spread the love and the passion I have with other people. So yeah, and I do the parties and I do corporate outings as well, and it's going really well. Had great success. So, but yeah, the social media thing really got to me. I'm like, oh, yeah, I know you're not supposed to be salesy, but another way of getting stuff out there.
Yeah. Yeah. And I know a lot of the companies do that, right? Like they give you things that you can post and how to engage and things like that. But if you watch others, you'll start seeing the difference of how they're not just sell. And that's the part that keeps you watching them, that keeps you engaging, that allows you to say a comment. And one of the things I didn't mention is 4 or more words when you make a comment, because that does something with the algorithm. So instead of thank you, it's thank you very much. Because the 4-word thing and Shannon taught us that, it's just like knowing how to do that. And one of the things I read too was go in and engage with other people's posts before you post your own, because you're actually setting yourself in motion as you're commenting on others. So when you go to put yours, it will identify who you were just interacting with, to make sure they see it. So there's just all kinds of tips and tricks. Yeah. Yeah. So, and sometimes I'll type a response and then I take it away and then I just move on, and it's like, you really want people to say something. It's not just the click of the like or heart or whatever. It really is, you want words to be placed in there. And when people do comment back, be able to go in and say, thank you for your response, or I'm so glad, like I was doing with the fruit. And again, that's all just for engagement. I mean, truly, I wanted to talk about fruit, but yeah, and that was just inspired. We've been eating watermelon like crazy. Our dog likes it. And it was just like, I wonder if everybody else likes watermelon like I do. And then someone mentioned salting it, which my dad always did. And it was like, well, that started a whole nother conversation. Like, do you salt your watermelon? So, which could be a thread.
Yeah, for the first time last summer. And it's actually pretty good.
I know, right?
Game changer
I guess it's that
watermelon world.
Yeah, salty sweet concept. I don't know.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Well, Melissa,
Well,
I
thank
think
you.
I want to share, if you don't mind. My biggest takeaway today really was this is all about connections and conversations, and that's kind of the foundation that we have here at Beautiful Faces Going Places. And because those conversations, those friendships, those relationships happen over time. They don't happen just instantaneously the first time you meet someone, and so there's a whole different approach to networking, if you will. And then I love what you talked about, because I too struggle with the how and when to post on social media, and I have not signed up for like a scheduler, because I really want the post to come from me. Do you know what I mean? With my words and my whatever message and intention and energy, and I don't want just some willy-nilly post that doesn't really resonate or represent me. Do you know what I mean?
Right. Yep.
So I really struggled with that, and I still struggle with it. And then I just think I just have to put it on my calendar to be conscious and aware. And I love how you said in the evenings before you go to bed, you pretty much plan out your posts for the next day. And then you do one, and then you just click and share, and then boom, you're done probably in a couple of minutes.
Yeah.
But you've thought it through the night before, and you probably have your image picked out, your message and everything, and that's coming from you and your words, right?
Exactly. Yes.
Yeah, I totally see that. And I've been struggling with just, I've been told, or recommended, you need to get on a scheduler, and I'm just like, that's, I want it to be my words.
Right.
Messaging and energy, and and you're right.
And why spend money on something?
Yeah, no one can say it like you can.
No. And the thing that I feel would be beneficial is if you could hire a VA that is willing to go back over the past 2 years of your posts and read them. Then I think you could have a good person to schedule your stuff, because now they've watched what you've created.
Yes.
But we've got to be in the trenches to discover what it is what our messaging is, what our branding is, what we're identifying and connecting with. And that takes time, and it shuffles out, it shifts out over time too. But I think to me, that's what I would, when it comes time to hand the baton for someone to support me, the VA needs to be someone that's willing to go in and really capture me and my message, not just a cookie cutter. Right. Like I said, with the golf course, it's 80 degrees and the sun's shining. It's like, no, it's 50 and it's raining. And then I was like, what the hell? Why is that post on there?
You brought up Shannon. She mentioned if some of you guys use the Google My Business page, there is a place you can create your own personalized posts that will go out into the week. So they actually have a place that you'll pick your platforms, create your message, and it will do it. So you're still creating your message, but you've got it kind of on a scheduler that will send it out. So it's like, I remember it was like down on the right hand side when you're looking at your things that, you can schedule out a post, and it connects to some. So like you could do a Facebook one, it'll go to Facebook and Twitter, or whatever those two connectors are. So that was something I'm like, oh, I need to get back to that, because that would at least get my balls rolling of getting something out there in a little bit more of a regular schedule. So
Right.
Yeah,
right.
Instagram will cross over to Facebook. And then like when I use my MailChimp, I can actually have it go to 3. It can go to Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter. Like I can have that when I send out that email, it can go in there as well. So yeah, those are just little things that over time you wouldn't have to do, you know, the cut and paste. It could do that. But again, I don't know how it affects the algorithms. I don't know how it does for
I never thought about that. Right.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Right. Well, since I don't know if anybody else has anything for Melissa. I know we went ahead and just scheduled an hour and a half in case, you know, we continued conversations and we were deep diving and the time is there. But if you have any other questions or comments or feedback for Melissa, this is your opportunity.
It was good to see you again and hear your goodness.
Oh my gosh. This was really, really great, Melissa. And I really wasn't quite sure what we were in store for. So I was totally blown away and amazed. And I'm like, oh my gosh, this is really great, great content, great information. And I'm just thinking, okay, this is a visibility platform. This is the backbone of Beautiful Faces Going Places. And I know everyone here that's remaining on this call and training, you're all on the success team. So I'm inviting you for the month of July. I'm calling it Visibility in July, to reach back out to me and let's get you on the calendar so that you can do, as Melissa shared, some give, some value out into the world for the month of July, so that as we're opening up back up, and I really feel like July, from experience, that a lot of people are either mentally checking out or physically checking out, you know, maybe going on holidays, I hope so, or vacations, I hope so. But this is our opportunity, as Melissa said, to give value, to remain visible. It's all about visibility, and then converting that visibility to conversations. And so this is our opportunity to shine. So I'd love to get you guys on the calendar for visibility in July. So
Sounds good.
yes.
Yep.
And Melissa, how would you like to wrap this up? I know you've got some, I mean, you always have a calendar and you're always in motion and in action. You are a doer, which is awesome.
Yeah, if you stay still, you grow roots, and then you're planted. I'm not planted. I gotta keep moving.
Exactly.
Yeah. So the vision board, Activate the Magic, is tonight. Even if you don't have a vision board, it's going to be some great content. It's free. There's some bonuses. There's some opportunity to connect with me, and then from that, I'm doing the Progress Toward a Purpose, which is a 2-week mini mastermind. It meets on Facebook daily for the next 2 weeks. A Q&A on Friday, but it's really helping you to work with the inner conversations, the inner beliefs, and just learning how to embrace who you are and where you are and how to move into those things that you really want to call in for yourself. So the time is now instead of in the future and things that happened in the past. So that's my 2 things that I have coming up for June. And so my July schedule hasn't been built out yet because I've done a lot in June. So.
Yes.
Which is good.
Yeah, that's great.
That's awesome. Really,
we can't
awesome.
wait for things to open. We need to be ready and rolling when things open.
Exactly.
So people are like, oh, there you are.
Yes, exactly.
I think it's going to be different though, don't you? I don't know that it's going to be so much business. I think it's going to be more pleasure than business. We'll do business by Zoom, but let's have pleasure out at the restaurants and meeting locations. That's my theory.
I think so too.
Yeah.
I think we're going to see a different world, a new economy, a new way of doing business, and a new way of being. I really do think it's a new way of being. I think we're all going to be more mindful too.
Yeah.
I hope so.
Awesome. Well, thank you, everybody. I really appreciate your time, your attention, your focus, your engagement. That's always the big thing is, you know, sometimes we have a message to share and it's not always one that we feel you know, jazzed about, but I feel like today the feedback, I really received that, and thank you, because that just validates that the work that I'm doing in the world is on point, and I just keep showing up for myself and for others. And so I look forward to bringing more opportunities and, you know, just supporting Carol and her mission to really, like you said, the visibility, the conversations, the platform. You've just leaped into it so wholeheartedly this year, even with situations. It's just an honor and privilege to watch you do that as well. So thank you.
Thank you. Well, thank you so much, Melissa. You guys go out and have a fabulous day.
Thanks, everybody.
All right.
Bye.
Take care. Bye,
Have a great
everyone.
afternoon. Bye.
Bye.